Hello and welcome to Braveheart Conversations,
where we learn the art of love through brave and compassionate conversations. I'm Jillian Aurora.
And I'm Marie Wallace.
And we are your hosts today. Hey everybody, welcome to Braveheart Conversations.
Hello.
I am Jillian Aurora and my co-host today is Marie Wallace. And today, of course, we're going to jump on the bandwagon and talk about coronavirus since that has everybody all up in arms. We just want to address the fears that everybody is having and how we can react to that. Obviously, we don't have all the answers.
We know what works for us.
We're in openness of what is unfolding. So I want to talk about how do we behave as a collective when we're in fear. How can we be solution focused instead of down in the muck and panicking?
Be in the now.
Yeah, because I know for me, I am most scared not of the virus, but of people's panic.
Yeah, it's a little disconcerting.
Yeah, I remember in school, my minor was in psychology, and I remember when we studied riot issues, it's like as an individual, those people would never do what they did end up doing as a collective. It's like they lose their damn minds. They just become different
and
people.
They're mean. Sometimes people are mean
And so I think we get to be aware of our human potential for doing that and being that way. And we don't have to be that way. And that's the gift here is we do have some awareness, right? As people, and I know even the people that generally listen to us, like you guys are pretty awake people. You're pretty aware. And so the gift that we have in this moment is we get to be a light. We get to be the groundedness. When everybody else is losing their minds, we get to hold our feet to the ground and hold a space for people to feel the fear, feel the uncertainty, because that's really what people are so scared of is the uncertainty. We get to sit in that and not know I don't know what's going to happen
none
next.
of us know what's going to happen, but we can be that energetic influence, the calming presence, the looking, towards the positivity, towards the things that we do. We are able to control or take care of right in the here and now, and being panicky is not going to help us come up with any solutions or anything because we don't know, and being in fear or guessing what we think's going to happen or any of that has our energy in the wrong place. Mm-hmm. And if we can put our energy focused on what's here and now and enjoying what we have here and now is good too.
Yeah. So here's what I do know.
Okay, tell us what you know.
What I do know is that all of the times in my life when I have been devastated and I have been in a place of not knowing where the next thing was going to come from, the next place to stay or food or whatever the next essential thing, those are the times that have created the most space for miracles to happen. Mm-hmm. When I have it all figured out and I'm in self-reliance, I love self-reliance.
It gets us in trouble. Sometimes.
I feel safe, right? Mm-hmm. And the beauty in not having self-reliance, in having the space of I don't know what's going to show up for me.
But I know it will.
It will. And those have been powerful moments for me when I've had to step out of just relying on myself and creating space for the collective. Mm-hmm. And that is the time when I have experienced the most love. I love that I'm getting to see right now when people are like, have my toilet paper. Who needs food?
The groups that are forming to say, I have extra of this and extra of that, or, can I go shopping for you? Those are just so much compassionate. When I was a young single mom, I think the greatest event that happened for me, and several really wonderful things happened, but the one I remember the best, it was right around Christmas time. Someone put groceries on my porch and a Christmas tree with some gifts for my kids, and I'm telling you, I still remember that today. It's just allowing other people to chip in and be part of that collective, and it shows our compassionate side. So yes, not being self-reliant just was allowed other people to give, and it was a beautiful experience.
So another time, for me, an example was, I don't know the exact time frame, a year and a half ago, after I had went through with my divorce, I'd gotten into my new house, and I had a lot of expenses. I had given a lot. There was great cost in following what was my next best step, what was good for me. And then I was informed by the vet that my dog needed a really, really expensive surgery. And I remember sitting in the vet and thinking, I love this dog. This dog has been there with me through thick and thin.
They're your family.
And I remember looking at him and thinking, I'm going to get you this surgery. I have no idea how, but I'm going to get it for you. And we left, and I decided to put a fundraiser on Facebook. And I can't even tell you the emotions that came up, feeling very vulnerable and feeling very, it was hard to receive. It was hard to think. I owed an explanation for my life and all of the things that I wanted to promise people I'm only spending money on things that I need, and all of this stuff came up. But what was so cool is that money, it was a $2,500 surgery, and that money was all raised in a week. And I still remember the feelings that came over me as I just kind of fell into this allowance of, I know I'm going to get my dog this surgery. And I could have played it safe. I could have decided to turn to a credit card for that expense. And that would have been a less vulnerable position for me. Instead, I opened myself up to receiving from the collective, and people were more than happy to contribute. And I felt a part of the collective. I also felt there was just this sense of gratitude and togetherness and vulnerability that I could have never received if I had just figured it out my own way. So for me, this is a more collective example where we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how we're going to get our needs met. We don't know what's going to happen with the next time we go to the grocery store. But
together, we can do this together.
Yeah. And it's not we all have something to lose. We all have families to feed or different vulnerable situations. My sister has Down syndrome. She happens to be in the vulnerable population where any sickness, not even just the coronavirus, but any flu or cold is
and my sister's in a nursing home, so she's very vulnerable too.
Yeah, so we all have our people that we're concerned about, and that we all get to rally around and make choices that are going to be helpful for them and protective for them. And we get to have this trust. We do the best that we can, and we get to have this trust that the universe is conspiring in my favor.
Always. I want to address the fear just a little bit, because I think that staying in fear blocks us. It blocks us from thinking anywhere. Well, it also keeps us in the self-reliance. Well, I gotta go do this, and I'm the only one who can do it, and not doesn't allow other people to come in and be there for us or be part of that collective, and it just causes there's no possibility.
Yeah.
In fear, it just blocks us, and we just can't think of anything else. So allowing even just the time and the space, it also gives us time to think of other possibilities, ways to collectively solve a problem. And so one of the things I've seen in the Facebook groups is is everybody working together to come up with solutions on how to keep our small businesses running during this difficult time, solutions for people with small children, how to get them the formula, people who have, people with special needs or older people in their lives. How can we collectively solve the bigger problem? Because me doing it on my own is just one brain on the task.
Yes.
And allowing other people in our space, we get to have more brains on solutions.
Yeah, and what I love too is when we're in a fear mindset and we're in panic, it's all about me. Like, how do I?
We're like 5 years old then.
Yeah, it is. We go back to this lizard brain of you're a little kid, and although maybe not, because some little kids, they don't have this idea of, I gotta have a month's worth of supplies.
Yeah, they don't have the fear because
they're like, I got dinner tonight, I'm good. But yeah, like when we're in fear, we're all we can think about is our own needs. When we can relax into this space of, I trust the universe, I trust that whatever is happening is for my good and my favor, then I can really be in a solution mindset. And I have seen a lot of either sharing or people finding solutions about how to keep their businesses running, moving to a more virtual space, doing things that they are able to balance both whatever their own ethical stance is of how they're going to maintain not being contagious, and having their ability to share and be constructive and being willing to look at the collective and not just their individual needs. That's gold.
And it might change your business for good, and you have no idea what positive things will come from this. The earth might be in better shape. Businesses might find a new way of doing things. I've already witnessed how some people hadn't thought of doing their business certain ways, and now adding virtual to it allows them to be more flexible. That people are spending more time with their families, more quality time with their families. So we don't know what benefits will come from this either, but it's just being open to the possibilities and just being here in the now and what we can do here and now. So that's what's important.
Yeah, I think that's super important. I think that we all know, we've all talked for a long time about how things need to change, right? I think this is a pretty universal thing.
Yes.
In the U.S., you may have different opinions about how you would like to see that change happen. But
we all know that we want to change.
Everybody talks about corruption. Everybody talks about the way the system is broken. Like, that's pretty universal. So guys, like, this can be one of those catalytic processes that this shows us when we have challenging things come up, whether it's in an individual level or a collective level. When these things show up, it's a catalyst to show us our weaknesses. It's a catalyst to show us
that we can be adaptable.
Yeah, and so what needs to crumble will crumble, and we get to trust that whatever crumbles is meant to crumble. Whatever was meant to leave our space will leave our space. And what I also know is that every time something has crumbled in my personal life, it has left a blank canvas for me to paint something so much more beautiful. And there is a lot of pain in that process. There's a pain in the tearing down. There's a pain in the transition. But just like I've talked to so many women in abusive relationships, yeah, it's tough as hell to get out.
But
on the other side, when people are free, that freedom,
it's so
there
worth
is no cost that is too great for freedom on the other side. So I think we all get to lean into this process of transition. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know what's going to come about on the other side. All I know is that I trust the divine to create these catalysts that will bring us closer to the changes that we want and that we deserve and that we're capable of. And so, yeah, there's been lots of things in history, lots of things that have been devastating. There's been wars, there's been plagues, there's been genocide. There's been a lot of violence, there's been a lot of illness. And we've always been resilient. We've always come through it. And we haven't experienced those things in quite a while in this country. You know, we've lived pretty luxurious lives. And it's okay to experience some of that pain. It's okay to sometimes be reminded of our temporary stay on this planet. It's sometimes okay to acknowledge how, you know what, I went to the grocery store, I don't know, yesterday, and I was really thankful for the groceries I got instead of many previous times just taking that for granted. You know, so there are so many
knowing
gifts.
that we have, some of us going to jobs, that we have a job to look forward to, or more family time to look forward to. It's just kind of reframing what this means to us.
Yeah, so, you know, a big key for me in facing fear is gratitude. You know, I can always go back to what am I grateful for that I have
Right now.
And this can be a great reminder that I have my health. I have a home that I really love. I'm safe. I have relationships with people who do love me and care about my safety and my well-being. They are caring and they share with me. And I share with them, and like I'm grateful for those things. I'm grateful for
friendships and
the family that I have, the fur babies that I have, the ability to feed them, like so many things. And so many things that we often take for granted. And so these are all opportunities that we have. We have so many opportunities to lean into the gratitude, to lean into the unknowing. Guys,
it's scary, but
life is uncertain. We can't get away from that. And you know, we live a lot of our life pretending that uncertain things are certain.
Exactly.
So we get a reminder of the truth, that life is uncertain. And I was challenged a while back to write an affirmation on my mirror that says, I love uncertainty. And that was before any of this blew up. And so I really get to be reminded of that today. I love uncertainty. And
it's a good teacher. It's a really good teacher.
And it's there whether we think it's there or not.
I like that.
We live in a lot of illusion that we have certainty, and we don't. There's like nothing that's certain. So anyway, I think that those are all great opportunities that the coronavirus has given us. Great
It's
gifts.
a good time to learn and to grow. We have more time and opportunity to grow more, and we can at least grow this person, right? And that's what we do have, you know, an advantage to do and an opportunity to do, and we can lead in this particular time, and that's probably what we're being called to do, is to lead and to be confident that we can be there for people in some way, right? We don't have to just to be there and certain for people. Maybe we're the calming presence. Maybe we're the presence that assures them that you will be resilient, that you can get through this. Maybe it's just being there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just being present and there for them.
Yeah. Another thing I want to address is how fear does change our relationships. Like if we allow that to be in the driver's seat, what I really noticed is that some people really have a lot of suspicion and judgment and blame that comes up. You know, when we see something bad that happens, very often our lizard brain wants to go to, whose fault is it?
Yep.
Something bad is here, whose fault is it?
It's not mine.
And so, you know, I think we really get to be aware of that and choose not to participate in that. When I was at the grocery store, my mom and I went to Costco the other day, and it was interesting to see how people would kind of like make these glares and stares and comments at people who they thought had too much in their cart. And I just thought, you know, we don't know. We don't know who has a large family, you know.
Who they might be helping.
Who's shopping for someone else, maybe many other people.
Maybe an organization that's helping a big group of people.
Right.
Yeah, we just have no idea.
We need to stay away from making assumptions. Like we get to give people the benefit of the doubt and generous assumptions. Assume the best of people.
Always.
If you see someone with a full cart, maybe assume that they're a really helpful person that's out there giving things to people. We don't know. Yeah, are there some people out there hoarding? Sure. sure. But until we actually have that information, I think that we only pull each other down.
It's probably a small percentage of people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we only pull each other down when we make those assumptions of people. We get to stop ourselves from being suspicious and judgmental.
Well, we don't like that when people do that to us, and somehow we want that grace for ourselves, yet sometimes we're not as generous at giving it as we want to receive it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. I think very often, when that defensiveness comes up in us, what we really want is we want someone to see we're doing the best we can. We want someone to believe that and assume that of us, and we get to offer the same assumptions of other people, especially in times where lack is apparent, because it really brings out this, suspicion and lack of togetherness. So anywhere where that shows up, we get to look at those gaps, and we get to look at those deficits, and we get to be the person that starts with us. The change we want to see gets to start with us.
Always right here.
Yeah. And thankfully, I've seen a ton of that. I've seen so many people step up to the plate and give to each other and be concerned about the collective.
There's been some really nice people, and I think it's, like you said, being generous with what people's motives and purpose are. Like today, I saw at the grocery store, someone ran into someone by accident, and she's like, "It's okay. I know that it was just a small bump. But it was just nice to see people being kind to each other and compassionate. It's a perfect opportunity for us to be that person in that chaotic time, not be that fearful.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of graciousness. When I was standing in this long line, oh my goodness, the line at Costco went all the way to the end of the store and then back to
That's so crazy.
the door. But it was nice. The people that I was surrounded by, they were chatting with us. Everybody was
an opportunity to talk to people.
Yeah. So it's not all bad out there, and we get to be reminded of that. And thank God we live in a time where we aren't just isolated in our homes. We have such a great virtual space.
We do.
We're here right now.
A couple of meetings online, and they've been really wonderful. Get to see their faces and still, do those eye hugs maybe.
Yeah.
Weird things like that. So I would like to, if we still have a minute, because I'm not sure how much time that we have, but
we're good.
I would love to do an exercise because I know one of the things that people are feeling is the judgment and anxiousness, and there's a lot of things coming at us that we can keep out here, where it doesn't have to come into our space. So I wanted to kind of give people an exercise that they could do to just to keep that at bay and to hold that boundary and just kind of be in control of what's here in our bubble. And so I'm just going to have you if you would take a minute with me and just kind of close your eyes, or just kind of put your gaze down and imagine yourself with your feet on the ground and your bottom on the seat, and just kind of just ground yourself and think about this body that you're in, and maybe even just this space that you're in, and this, just kind of feel where your skin ends. That's a weird thought, but just imagine, your head and your feet, and just ground all of that. And then just imagine that you have your bubble just a little further out, maybe a half an inch in all directions. And then since that you're still in your own energy, you still have your bubble, your space, your energy. And then move your consciousness maybe even a foot out. You're just a little bit further out on all sides. And it might feel that your energy's a little bit fuzzy, but it's still you and your energy. And that's your boundary. That's your energy space. That's all your bubble. And then put yourself in the middle of that bubble. So you have just about a foot or 2 feet all around you. And then at the edge of that bubble, you put some kind of flower, maybe a rose or any kind of your favorite flower. And that's going to represent where that boundary is for you. And that flower can move anywhere around your bubble. And you're going to call that your permission flower. So anything that you want in your space has to go through that rose. Anything that's on this side of the rose belongs to me. Anything that's on the other side of the rose belongs to someone else. So in my space, on this side of the rose, I have permission to be myself and to have my own experience, however I want to have that experience. And then whoever or whatever is on the other side of the rose gets to have their experience and enjoy their world the way they, perceive it. So if there's a scenario like the store or a subway or a place where someone wants to come into my space, they have to go through the rose. And I have the permission here to feel what I feel, to experience what I want to experience, and they get to experience what they want to experience. And anyway, you can open your eyes, but that's just a way that you can hold that boundary. And that flower can just move anywhere around. We have the power with our imagination to control our own space. And I don't know, I think keeping anxiousness at bay, keeping fear at bay, and there's healthy fear, maybe, be prepared and to be aware, but not to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Crazy?
Panicked.
Yeah. That's the word I'm looking for. But so just, find a way to keep that out of your space and your bubble, and then you can be that energetic influence for the world.
I think we get to be led by our intuition.
Definitely.
So, I think there's a difference between being led by fear and if your intuition says you need to go to the store right now and get some groceries.
That's way different.
That's such a different experience to me than, oh my gosh, the world is ending, I've got to get to the store right now. It's a totally different energy and space. And there's a groundedness in that. Like, I feel inspired to do this, and often
that's a way different experience.
I don't even know why. I just know I feel led to do something right now. I feel led to buy that particular thing, or I feel led to give that particular thing away.
Which means we have to be open. And if we're in that panicky fear, it's blocking. But if we're open and allowing, that's where intuition gets to play the part in things.
Yeah. So good.
Inspired.
So I hope that this has been a little bit grounding as we all face this together. New and exciting times. I would love to see if we've got any questions. I'm thankful to see all the people that have popped on.
Kindness.
Lynette, yes, kindness. Share your supplies if you have enough. Definitely.
Hello, Misty.
Hi, Misty. We need to be vigilant for people who are at risk. I have friends and cancer patients, heart patients, etc. And yes, help them, shop for them, pray for them. Yep, we all get to do that
She
together.
also made a post earlier this week about food banks. If you have more and you want to and are able to, food banks are a good way for you to share.
Yep, that link is shared on my personal Facebook page. So
mine too.
So if you are in need of food or if you have some to contribute, that's a great way to get it out. Misty also says help to stay safe or help to stay out of fear. Planning can help. Yeah, planning is good. Helping others can help you not be in fear. So make plans and help others. And being present. That's a really important thing too, is being present. If I'm in the future, I don't know what is going to happen, and all of those uncertainty fears come up. But if
we start presuming things, and it takes up valuable. Yeah.
But if I'm grounded, then in the present, I get to acknowledge what I have right now. And right now, there is no emergency. Right now, I'm safe, I'm cared for, I'm in a warm, loving space. And most of us can say the same thing.
And we're in that presence of allowing, so intuition can show up. Yeah, if we're in the future, it's hard for her to show up.
Absolutely. All right, I think we are out of time, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you all so much for being here. Again, this is Braveheart Conversations, and you can find us either on Facebook Live. Every week we're here on Thursdays. You can also find us on Podbean and Spotify. If you would like to join us on Facebook and capture our lives each week, you can find us in the group Braveheart Conversations. That is facebook.com/groups/Braveheart Conversations. So join us there. We'd love to have your comments each week.
If you have questions or if you want to share things, if you have stories you want to share, those are always nice. Just let us know.
Yeah, I know this is affecting everybody. So, if you have a specific thing you'd like us to talk about, or you want to share your own stories about coronavirus, or maybe even the kindness that you've experienced.
Oh, that would be nice.
And the miracles that you've experienced throughout this process, that would be great. I'd love to hear that and share that out. So, with that, we love you all very much, and we will see you again next week. Oh, if you do want to give us your questions, concerns, comments. You can reach either of us. You can reach myself at defytheaverage@gmail.com, and you can reach Marie
at mariesgold.com.
And you can also just find us in the group and leave us your comments or messages there.
Yeah.
So we love you. Hope you have a great week. Stay healthy and safe out there.
Yeah, stay healthy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.